Alright, this is our CG935G. It's got a Cummins 5.9 in it. I'm going to just give you a little walk around on this. It's got a 2.5 yard bucket. We put a GrabTech grapple on there. This grapple system, you can pull out the center arm in here, and each of those will move independently, or you can have it bolted like it is and use it that way. It's easy to take off. You just pull this one pin right here. The grapple comes off of there. We got hoses that run up to a solenoid valve that we put the quick attach couplers right up there, so you can pull that right off up there and get the hoses out of the way when you're not using the grapple. It easily comes off. There's a couple little pins right here you pull out, and this flips down so you can set that grapple off. We just put that splitter valve in, and that's an electric 24 volt system. You just pull a little trigger on your hand control there, and it switches the hydraulics from that center cylinder to the grapple fork. This has got the 17.5 tires on it, a little bit smaller tires than our H model. Our center bushings and pins are all right there. Inside of here is where our brake is for our park brake. This stuff all comes off right here with a few bolts. It's easy accessible. You can get right at all the main hydraulic components and stuff once you're right up underneath the cab there. Now we'll move back to the engine compartment on the 935G. It's the 5.9 Cummins. It's just stuck in here. There's a little disconnect right here. You can disconnect all the electricity so the batteries aren't running on anything. You can't leave anything on. That's probably a good thing to do if you're going to leave it for a while. And then there's just a little, I don't know if you can see that, it's probably dark in there, but there's just a little PTO shaft between the transmission and the engine. Your engine doesn't bolt right up against the transmission on this unit. It makes it pretty easy to service and maintain. Got your lift hooks on it for towing it. Your batteries are right in this compartment right there. Your fuel gauge, this comes out. This is where you fill it with fuel, right down in here. It's a little hard to see back here. Clean the radiator. Then on this side, there's another battery under there. It's a 24 volt system. Open this door here. There's your AC compressor right there. Your hydraulic pump. Your AC's right here, and your hydraulic pump's right there. There's your fuel injection pump, fuel filter. There's a little pump right here you can use to prime fuel filter if it gels up and you have to change filters. Your air cleaner's right there. Pretty serviceable, easy to get at. And that's pretty much a walk around of this whole unit. This is where your air conditioner kicks out right there. That's an air conditioning fan. And now we'll go inside and take a look inside. Alright, now we're going to walk into the cab. And on these 935Gs, the heater's underneath the seat, and the air conditioning's right there, and that's all under the seat. Over here you have your park brake, and you have your front windshield wiper, rear windshield wiper. That's the wiper fluid, and this turns on a little beacon back here. And this is your transmission engage, disengage when you press on the brake. If you want to have your transmission unhooked when you press on the brake, you can put it in that mode. And this locks out your hydraulics, and this is where you would hook your Cummins diagnostics engine to it for the engine. And over here is your hand control. It's a 4-way hand control. It's really nice and smooth. And then there's a little button right here, and that button activates the grapple. So when you click on that button and go like this or this, it activates the grapple. You let loose, and then it would tilt the machine. And then on your dash, I'll start it up here. On your dash, you have your RPM gauge, digital. This is your hour meter, fuel gauge, speedometer, and then you have your voltage, and in the number 1 mode, you'll see it's your voltage. It's a 24 volt system, so 27 volts it's charging. When you switch it to number 2, with this little up arrow right here, moves it to number 2, and that is your water temperature in Celsius, so 50 degrees Celsius. 100 in Celsius is boiling, so that'd be 212, and 0 is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So it should be probably running about in the 80s when it's warmed up. Number 3 is your transmission temperature in Celsius, and number 4 is your oil pressure in millibars, which is a metric pressure sensing. It'll raise up. So that's kind of how the dash works. I'll shut this off so you can hear a little better. And then as far as other items on the dash, over here you have an idle set. You can set the idle up, and then a diagnostic button that when you hook it to the computer, you hit this to get some codes. And then it's a twist shift transmission. Got 4 speeds in forward and 4 speeds in reverse. And you can put it in second gear, and I load most of the time in second gear because you're not revving the motor very much. But if you go into a pile and you need a little bit more power, you go in second. You can push in on this, it kicks it into first gear, and then when you go to back up, you're back in second gear again. That way you're not running the motor very much. And over here is your lights and your hazards. And then it's got turning signals. And then you have to twist this to turn the lights on. Then there's a high beam and a low beam too. And that pretty much wraps up the cab. One thing about these units, so they do put all the heat out from underneath the seat here. So in the wintertime, what I would recommend doing is maybe mounting a fan over here, or mounting another fan up in here somewhere to blow on the windshield. Because if you're hot and steamy and out working all day and you hop in these machines, the windows will that front window will fog up if it's really cold out and you're hot and steamy. But other than that, they do a pretty nice job on them. Most of the buckets that we order for these 938H's, and this is a 935G, are the 2.5 yard buckets. I think they're rated at 2.6, and they come with the teeth on them. This one we got the outside tooth off, and you can just pull those teeth out with 2 bolts, and then there's a small cutting edge in between each of the teeth. And we usually, for our gravel operation, we just pull the teeth out and leave it that way, and then it'll bite in. But you could pull these individual cutting edges off and put a standard cutting edge in. Another thing I didn't mention either was that they do have the return to dig feature. These units have return to dig, which when you tilt the cylinder down, it'll come back to level and snap back at level automatically. Also the differential, planetaries and everything are right inside there. They don't have a planetary inside the wheel. You can run a real heavy axle in there, run it right back into one oil bath location. Most loaders have 3 different oil bath locations. Everything's in one, right inside that planetary, and that's where your internal wet brake is located also.